So when you're running a business, especially one that's just starting to grow, expenses can pile up fast. And at first, it's just a couple of software subscriptions, but then you're booking travel, paying vendors, picking up last-minute supplies, covering team lunches, and suddenly everyone's asking if something counts as reimbursable. And if you don't have a system that keeps it all in order, it's not just more work. It turns even the small stuff into a daily headache. Now, a business expense is basically anything you pay for just to keep things moving. There's the obvious stuff like rent, payroll, software, but then there's the sneaky costs that can creep in. Ad campaigns still running in the background, too much printer ink, a trial someone signed up for and just never canceled. Some of these can hit you every month, others are one-offs, but they all pull from the same budget. And if you're not paying attention, they start blending together before you even notice. And here's what a lot of people miss. Most of these expenses are tax deductible. So if you're not tracking everything properly, if receipts are missing or your categories are all over the place, you're probably leaving money on the table. But it's not just about taxes, it's about knowing your numbers so you can plan confidently, make better decisions, and stay in control. So in this video, we're going to walk through what proper expense tracking actually looks like, and then I'll show you how a tool called Airwallex can make the whole process way more manageable. Now, once you know what a business expense is, the next step is making sure you're actually tracking them and doing it in a way that's clean and consistent, because when things slip through the cracks, it doesn't just mess with your reports. It throws off your whole cash flow, your forecasting. It makes it harder for your team to spend confidently. But when everything is in order, it is a different story. You can actually see where the money is going in real time, compare budgets to actual spending, and catch problems early before they turn into something bigger. Now that matters a lot if you're trying to protect your runway, and when tax season rolls around, you're not digging through emails or chasing down old receipts. You've already got everything sorted by category with dates and records in place. Tax deductions are easy, audits aren't as scary, and closing the books doesn't turn into a late night project. It's one of those things that seems small but makes a huge difference. So there are a few ways to track expenses, and depending on how your business is set up, some are going to be a better fit than others. The simplest one is spreadsheets. If you're a solo founder or just getting started, this is probably where you'll begin. You collect receipts, plug them into a sheet manually, and do your best to stay on top of it. It's doable, but it's also very easy to fall behind and pretty error prone as things scale up. Then you've got accounting software, stuff like QuickBooks or Xero, and these give you more structure. You can link your bank accounts, you can run reports, you can track income and your expenses all together. They're great for overall visibility, but they're not really designed for tracking day-to-day employee or team spending. Now, expense tracking apps are another option, and those are usually focused on mobile, naturally. Team members can snap receipts, tag categories, and submit claims right from an app. Super handy for small purchases or reimbursements, but they can get messy if you're managing everything manually. But the real step up is corporate cards. You can issue them to your team, set spending limits, and monitor their purchases as they happen. It gives you real-time data, better control, and way less back and forth when someone just needs to buy something. That kind of visibility makes a huge difference, especially as your team grows and more people start spending on the company's behalf. Of course, all that tracking only matters if you're actually using the data, and that's where expense reports come in. A good report shows what was spent, when it happened, who made the purchase, and why. It connects receipts, categories, and approvals in one view, and when done right, it can help with budgeting, accountability, and compliance. The process usually looks like this. Collect the receipts and transaction data, categorize everything by project or department, add context, and then compile it by person or time period. Then it gets reviewed, approved, and logged for tax and bookkeeping. Now that can get messy quickly if your tools aren't connected, but with the right setup, a lot of this can happen automatically so you're not buried in receipts at the end of the month. But even with corporate cards in place, there will still be times when someone needs to pay out of pocket. Maybe they're traveling, maybe it's a one-off vendor. Whatever the case, you still need a clean reimbursement process. And the best setup is simple. Submit a receipt, add the details, get approval, and get paid back. But that only works if you've got the right policies and tools in place. Because fast reimbursements, that builds trust, and they keep the whole process running smoothly. Now, if tracking business expenses has ever felt like a real hassle, like lost receipts, scattered approvals, cards you can't control, this is where Airwallex makes life a whole lot easier. You can instantly issue physical or virtual corporate cards to anyone on your team, and they're good to go right away. No delays, no paperwork, and they work with Apple Pay and Google Pay, so your team can start spending online or in-store immediately. You can issue different cards for different purposes. One company card for your AI subscriptions in dollars, another one for the team lunches in euros, while having employee cards for your team for their travel. And all of those cards pull from your multi-currency wallet. So if you're paying in euros, yen, pounds, whatever, it just uses what's already in that currency. You can skip the FX conversion entirely. And if you don't quite have enough in the wallet, Airwallex just auto-converts for you using bank rates that have no markup. And there's also zeroed international transaction fees, so whether your team is buying software in Europe or booking hotels in Asia, you're not getting extra charges. And you can issue cards in over 40 different markets, so whether your team's in New York, Sydney, Singapore, doesn't matter, it just works. Plus in the US, there's actually another bonus. You can earn up to 1.5% cash back on eligible local purchases. And that's not a limited time promo, it's just built in. So every time someone pays for a tool or takes a client out to lunch, you're getting some of that back. Now, on the control side, everything is centralized. You get 100% control on how each card is used. Set daily, weekly, or monthly spend limits, lock cards to specific merchant categories, freeze or cancel any card instantly. And if you just need a one-off purchase, issue a single issue card. Easy. You're also getting real-time visibility into everything. Every transaction across every board shows up instantly in your dashboard. You can track spending by person, team, or department and actually spot trends without digging through end-of-month reports. Then from the team side, it's just as smooth. They make a purchase, upload a receipt, and they're done. No long-form emails, no email chains. It fits into their day-to-day, so they'll actually stick with it. And for managers, you're not micromanaging. You set the guardrails and Airwallex enforces them. Everyone can move fast, but spending still stays on track. And that month-end review that used to take days now takes minutes. When it comes time to reconcile, everything's already organized. Every transaction syncs automatically with your accounting software, QuickBooks, Xero, NetSuite, and it tags the right categories and vendors for you. So there's no manual entry, no backtracking, no mess. The only thing really worth noting is that these cards don't support ATM withdrawals. They're built for everyday business expenses, travel, subscriptions, tools, services, not cash. But if you want to stay in control of company spending across currencies, teams, and borders without slowing anyone down, this is it. So if expenses have always been a pain, slow reimbursements, surprise charges, too many tools not talking to each other, Airwallex is seriously worth checking out. It brings your cards, controls, and reports into one clean platform. You'll get a clearer view of your finances, less admin work, and a better way to keep your team empowered without losing oversight. And if you want to check it out for yourself, I dropped a link down in the description, and that'll usually get you some special offers that aren't always available on their main site, so it's worth taking a look. Also, if you're interested in working with us or sponsoring a future video, just reach out using the email in the description below. And if this breakdown helped, a thumbs up is always appreciated. Drop any questions in the comments and I will do my best to answer as many as I can. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one.